Welcome to the Explainer. Wow, what a day for the Indian stock market. We're talking about August 19th, 2025, a day where the Nifty 50 got so close to a massive, massive milestone. And here it is, the number of the day. The Nifty 50 just stormed ahead, closing at its highest level ever. I mean, look at that, just a stone's throw away from that historic 25,000 mark. So you've got to ask, right? What was the rocket fuel behind this rally? Let's dig in. We're going to break down the big numbers, look at the key drivers, and then see what the experts think is coming next. All right, first up, let's get a bird's eye view of today's session. And this wasn't just a Nifty story. The good vibes were pretty much everywhere. Yeah, it was green across the board. You had the Sensex climbing over 370 points, the Nifty adding more than 100. But here's the really important part. It wasn't just the big guys. The mid-caps and small caps also jumped about 1%. That tells you there was real, broad-based confidence in the market today. So what exactly was the engine behind this surge? Well, it was really a perfect storm, in a good way. A powerful mix of optimism right here at home, plus some really positive cues from the global stage. Okay, let's talk about the domestic story. Investor confidence was just sky high. There's a lot of chatter about major GST reforms coming down the pike, which everyone loves. And you add to that a recent credit rating upgrade from S&P, some serious buying in the heavyweight stocks, and foreign money starting to flow back in. That's a powerful cocktail. And that great mood at home was just getting an extra boost from what was happening overseas. You had signs of geopolitical tensions easing up, with real optimism about a potential end to the war in Ukraine. That just gave investors one more reason to hit the buy button. Okay, so with all this good news floating around, where did the money actually go? Let's follow the trail and see which specific stocks and sectors really stole the show today. And a pretty clear theme popped up today. The auto sector was on fire. I mean, names like Tata Motors, Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Auto, they were all leading the pack. But on the flip side, we saw some profit-taking in the pharma space. Stocks like Dr. Reddy's and Cipla were feeling the pressure. This chart really paints the picture, doesn't it? The buying was so widespread. You had auto and oil and gas out in front, but almost every single sector ended in the green. The one big exception? Pharma. And that tells you a story right there. It looks like investors were shifting out of those safe, defensive plays and piling into sectors that are all about economic growth. All right, let's pull back and look at the bigger picture for a second. Today's rally didn't just happen in a bubble, right? It was definitely being shaped by some key macro trends, both here in India and around the world. So when you boil it all down, you've got this two-sided story. On one hand, these super strong domestic tailwinds, we're talking GST hopes and that rating upgrade, they were the main engine. And then on the other hand, you had these helpful global cues, like the peace talks and slipping oil prices, just adding fuel to that fire. And all this positivity wasn't just in stocks. It spilled right over into the currency market. The Indian rupee had a fantastic day, getting a lot stronger against the US dollar. That is another huge vote of confidence for the Indian economy. Okay, so the big question now is, what do the experts think? Do they believe this rally has legs? And what are the key levels they're all watching right now? First up, Shrikant Chauhan over at Kotak Securities. He's looking at the charts and seeing classic signs of strength. He points to what's called a bullish candle. Now, for those who don't live and breathe charts, that basically means the market closed way higher than where it opened, a sign that buyers were in total control and the uptrend could keep going. And it's a similar story from Nagaraj Shetty at HDFC Securities. He's highlighting something called a breakaway gap. This is when the market opens way higher than it closed the day before, leaving a literal gap on the chart. He thinks this is a really powerful signal that the market has broken free from its old trading range and has the juice to push higher, maybe even up towards 25,300. And then, bringing it back to the fundamentals, we have the Node Nair from Geojit Investments. He's really doubling down on what we talked about earlier. For him, this momentum is all about those strong domestic drivers, the excitement around GST, and that credit rating upgrade. So what's the bottom line from today? Well, the mood is definitely bullish, no doubt about it, and it's being driven by all this optimism about the Indian economy. But the real test, the next big boss battle, if you will, is getting past that 25,000 level on the Nifty. That's the big one. Which, of course, leaves us with one final provocative question. Today was a huge win for the bulls, no question, an all-time high close. But is this the real deal? Is this the start of the next major leg up for the market? Or is that 25,000 barrier going to put up a much tougher fight than we think?